Okay, who we got here? Go. I encourage you guys to go to gallery view. Gallery view. Okay.
Gallery view.
Oh, fantastic.
Oh, wow.
So,
There we go.
what we're going to do is we're going to say a quick hello and then just go around in your gallery view. I'm going to just point to people. Just say a quick hello, who you are, and what you're drinking, if you're drinking anything, and then we're going to get cracked on, okay? So if anyone has stumbled into this Zoom call, this is the Winchester Creatives first Friday of the month social. It's a really friendly thing. We get together and have a drink and pretend we've been to the pub. So I'm going to leave the team Winchester to introduce themselves later, but I'm going to go to Freddie. Say hi.
Hey, what's up, guys? I'm Freddie, and I'm drinking a shandy. Yeah, some beer and some lemonade. Yeah.
Brilliant. Let's take it to Matt.
Which one?
Yeah, which one?
Matt Dean.
Hi, I'm Matt. I'm drinking Scotch and Coke.
Ooh.
Classy.
Is it Irish whiskey or is it Scotch whiskey?
Scotch whiskey.
Scotch
is
whiskey.
good.
Wonderful. How about Georgie Hanley? Lovely to see you. A new face.
Hi.
Welcome.
Hi, I'm Georgie, and I'm drinking dark fruits.
Wonderful. Georgie, where have you come from and how did you find out about us?
So I found out about you in the Itchen Valley newsletter because I live in Itchen Abbas, and I graduated Nottingham Trent last year. And yeah, just kind of after the pandemic hit, not really sure what to do now. So
Well, you've found your tribe right now.
Yeah.
This is Winchester Creatives. You're part of our tribe now. We're a wacky bunch, but we'll do everything to help. Miles Thornton, lovely to see you in the house. Say hello, and let's find out a little bit more about you.
Hello, so I'm Miles Thornton. I'm drinking Strawberry Dark Fruit as well. Yeah, and I found out about Winchester Creatives through Martin Reed, who's a lecturer at the university that I attend. So I'm studying a digital design master's.
Oh, dude.
Wonderful, wonderful. Let's go to the lovely Martin Reed. Lovely to see you, my friend.
On mute. Yep. Hello. I'm drinking
What are we
one of
drinking?
these Hells.
Oh,
Lovely.
Pricey, but nice.
Listen, it's lovely to see you here, Martin, and thank you for being an evangelist for what we're doing. We're so pleased to see you.
Yeah.
Obviously, your students enjoy Strongbow with a fruity flavour. we got Flo in the house. Hello, Flo.
Hello.
How's it going? What are you drinking?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. I'm actually drinking a fruity alcoholic sparkling water, which is a company from a friend at uni. He's made a startup.
What are they called?
Arrowtown. Little plug there. It's
buy it.
about on Instagram.
Wonderful to see you, Sandy Matter. Lovely to see you. How are you?
So nice to see you again. I'm good. How are you?
Good. Tell us what's happening in your world.
Well, just doing standard advertising things, really. Yeah, I'm. If anyone doesn't know, I'm working as a junior creative in London. So yeah, it's been 3 months now. Oh, and I'm drinking Lafroig.
Well, it's classy.
Yeah, we couldn't get the wine open, so it was like, let's just bring out the good liquor. I don't have anything else.
Yeah, good. We got Gabriella in the house. Gabrielle, how are you and what are you drinking?
Hey, so yeah, I'm Gabrielle, and I'm drinking today Guinness. I did my dry January, so I thought, you know what, I'm going to start my back to drinking with some Guinness.
Fantastic. Lovely to see you here. And we're going to go to Anupa. Lovely to see you. A lovely new face for us in this community. Please introduce yourself, and then if you're drinking anything, let us know what you're drinking.
Yeah, nice to see you all as well. Again, I'm a student at Solent University. Again, I heard about this from Martin Reed as well, who's my lecturer, and just come down here to check out what's happening.
Wonderful. Hugo Craberson's in the house. How are you, Hugo?
I'm good. I'm a little bit bored at the moment because I'm on furlough, but I'm trying to be productive and work on my graphics. And I've been doing the SEO course as well. So
awesome. How are you finding it?
Trickier than I thought it was going to be, but I'm getting there a little bit.
Good. Right. I can see we got some other people we're going to introduce. We've got the wonderful Kevin Chin here. Kevin, what are you drinking, by the way?
I'm drinking. I should be drinking wine, shouldn't I? But I'm not. I'm drinking Desperado.
Oh,
some wine.
There we go.
Just fancied a beer tonight. That's all.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, fantastic. Right, Dan, if you could do me a favour, if anyone else is in the waiting room that wants to come in, can you let them in? I've given you, you've got co-host facilities there. Okay, thank you so much for joining us. This is the first Friday socials. The whole point of this events are to be relaxed. They're a social event for us all to get to know each other. If we could go down to the pub, we'd be going down the pub. But let's face it, this is the cheapest round that I've had to do in a while. But we're going to just basically share with you a little bit about some updates from the Winchester Creatives team, particularly around our apprenticeship scheme. I'm going to basically prioritize the stuff we're doing around Castella Family Brands with Yellowtail, because Kevin's going to have to go quite shortly. And then we're going to tell you a little bit more about the team that we're building and exciting news that is to come. But before I do that, can I just check, can you see this screen here? Does this screen show you something?
Yeah.
Yes. Good stuff. Good stuff. So I'm just gonna and if I play that screen, is it one big screen or is it just multiple screens?
One big screen.
One big screen.
Okay. So for those of you who don't know, last year, so we started Winchester Creatives back in March last year at the first lockdown, when we realized that the recession that would follow this pandemic would mean up to about 1 million people will be unemployed for the foreseeable future. And we then, we ran a crowdfunding campaign during the summer. We ran a business sponsorship campaign leading up to Christmas. We ran numerous events and things like that. And one incredible business and one incredible man went to join me for a curry when we did an Eat Out to Help Out scheme. And I told him what we were doing, and he kind of came away and said, look, what can we do to help? And I basically kind of said, well, I'm going to sting you for quite a lot of cash. And all of the cash that you give us is going to create opportunities for young people to kind of grow and learn in their creative abilities. Well, with that, we have been able to basically create our first sort of paid for team. Now, we started our plan to create 5 apprentices. So one with a graphic design background, one with a UX background, one with a development background, one with a video creator background, and one with a copywriting background. Our plan was to basically give 5 people 6 months of apprenticeship to work together on projects. Now, the fundraising last year was incredibly difficult, and we didn't manage to reach the full £50,000 that we wanted to raise. But when Dan and I spoke about it at the beginning of this year and last year, we were having a real dilemma as to how do we apply this budget so that we don't end up being that kind of Alan Sugar type people who just point to somebody and say, you've got it, but you haven't. We felt very uncomfortable, this idea of just picking one person just for a certain specific role. So I spoke to Kevin about this, and he was very, very supportive. And I said, maybe there's a different way that we can apply some of his funding. And I asked him, could we bring in different skill sets to work on a different exciting brief? So this is the team. This is Team Castella that we have chosen. I'm going to tell you who the team is, what they're working on, and the process we're going on. Then Kevin's going to explain a little bit about the project that he's given us. And then each of the team are going to explain to them about what we've been working on. So this is Team Castella. So this is Castella Family Brands, who owns Yellowtail, and they're working on this new product development scheme. So I've been making myself a bit of a nuisance behind the scenes. We've had a wonderful contributor to Winchester Creatives, Kane Mackenzie Yapper, who he's done an MA at the University of Winchester, and he's helping us from an audience insight and a UX perspective on this particular project. Amber Wesley, who you'll hear from us, she's one of our youngest mentees. She's an absolute dynamo. She's single-handedly kind of helping grow the audience figures for Winchester Radio. She has a TikTok following of over 9,000 people, and she's absolutely brilliant journalist who's helping us develop our content. Dan, Dan B, who's helped us develop the Winchester Creatives brand, is involved in this team with oversight from a creative perspective so that we kind of bring it all together. Thank you, Dan, for all your contribution and help. And the wonderful Hannah Sloan, who shared on the Winchester Creatives platform this amazing campaign. If you didn't see it, it was called Bog Standard. It had wit, it had charm, it had extensibility, it had great crisp copywriting. She's coming on board from a graphic design perspective. And we felt that we didn't quite know, but we wanted to make room for the wonderful illustrative style of Heather Ranking. And if you haven't seen it, she's been basically tracking our events online and sharing it. And we didn't quite know at the start how it might fit in. But what Heather has been doing is that rather than documenting our journey through filming wise, it's very difficult to do that on Zoom. So normally we'd be in a creative studio and we'll get cameras and we'll record our brainstormings and see us in the creative studio. We thought we'd do it a different way. So we asked Heather to be Winchester Creatives illustrator in residence. And she's been illustrating the journey that we've been on for Castella and also for Winchester Creatives. I'm just going to go through the process that we're going through on the project, and then I'm going to hand over to Kevin. So at the moment, we've been working on a project specifically for Kevin, where we did a classic program of work where we looked at discovery. So we immersed ourselves. We asked the question, where are we back in the 18th of January? We then started to open up our creative exploration as to where could we go. So this is more the exploratory side, the art of the possible. We came up with weird and wacky ideas. We've just completed a sprint of work this week, which is the where should we go, which is like refining the ideas a bit further forward. And then next week, we're kind of developing more of the idea about how we get there. Finally, we're going to demonstrate how our comms plan could be matched with the commercial plan. And then what is wonderful, there's an opportunity to present to rather senior people. But rather than me tell you more about that, I thought I'd basically hand over to Kevin Chin to tell you a little bit more about the project and program that we've been working on.
Thanks, Richard. And it's great to be here. And it's lovely to be a Friday evening as well. It's been a long week, but a really good week. Yeah, it's been a fantastic project to be involved in. And as Richard said, we weren't quite sure how it would pan out when we said we'd go and support this. But actually, it's just turned out fantastically well. We've had a couple of meetings so far, and we had one this afternoon. It was just great to see the effort and the work that went into it, that's gone into it so far, I should say. Just some brilliant ideas and some really, really thorough work that's gone into it. And it's great. And the whole idea is basically, we were going to do it on Yellowtail. But in the end, what we did is we've got some new product development that's happening at the moment. And we presented it to a major grocer, and they love it. And it's looking likely we'll get a listing. Nothing's absolutely confirmed, but we had an update today from them, and they're very happy and excited. So much so, in fact, that we're looking to even move it on beyond just one customer and move it to a national launch. So from an idea, and actually me scratching my head a bit before Christmas, thinking what would be the best thing to get involved in here. What we've actually had is a live project that is real and is going to, and hopefully will go through and get listings in a major grocer in the UK by the end of this year. And the guys have been basically looking at a launch plan and a comms plan for this product. So it encompasses the copy, it encompasses design, it encompasses social media plans and strategy, amongst a lot of other things as well, which I probably haven't mentioned, a comms plan and a creative. And there's some brilliant ideas in there that I know we can use, and there's some interesting ideas in there that I would never have thought of that I think we might be able to use. And even if we don't, it's really got me thinking about how we go about launching new products and the things we could do and should do. So I've learned a lot on this process. I really have. It's great to have some young, exciting minds into something because they look at it in a very different, you guys look at it in a very different perspective to perhaps I might do. And I think we're getting into a place, and we're not through the process yet, but I think we're getting into a place where it actually could be very exciting. So I just want to thank everybody that's been on the project so far, and I look forward to carrying on with it over the next few weeks.
So just to build on that for Kevin, if you have to split, we totally understand. Each of the team are going to explain a bit about their involvement in this project. But from Dan Benham, myself, and the rest of the volunteer team, we want to just say a heartfelt thank you. Not only did you trust us in the beginning to convince your bosses that it would be a good thing to kind of invest in, the use of Hampshire and their creative abilities, but you have provided the most extraordinary brief to them. And for everyone else who isn't involved in this type of brief and when he says it's alive, this is being pitched to a major grocer right now. Our creative work is being tested with the kind of Advertising Standards Authority just to see if it's on the right track. There's an opportunity for us to potentially, or even Kevin, to present this creative work to the head of procurement of this major grocer. And not only as Kevin, who is the marketing director of Casella Family Brands in Europe, has he talked to his boss and also his sales team, we're getting also soundings of encouragement from the founder of this organization. That is, so to put this in perspective, you in your careers will probably not get to touch this type of project for another 20 years or 20 years in your career. So you might contribute to it as in creative, but most agencies, they would only put their creative director, their strategy director, their managing director, their digital director in the room. So sometimes people will take your work and present it for you. What Kevin has allowed us to do is to literally take Amber, who's 20 years old, to give her the opportunity alongside everyone else to literally pitch their ideas directly to the client, unfiltered. And this is genuinely, from my side, this is one of the most exciting briefs that I've had the honor and pleasure to be working with. And I cannot tell you how thrilled and delighted I am to be working with this wonderful team on that. So thank you, Kevin, for trusting us with this and providing such a wonderful brief to us to work with.
Not a problem, and it's an unusual feeling, I have to say. So, but it has been exciting. It's a very different way of doing things, but it's been great. It's been great so far. So well done to everyone so far that's been involved. It was this afternoon was particularly good. I thought really exciting. So I need to dash, but I'll let you crack on. I'm going to finish off my beer.
Can we? I
wish you all a very happy weekend and enjoy the rest of the evening.
Can you just give me a wave so that we get everyone on this call with a bit of a wave? Or put your glass up. Put your glass up.
I feel bad not having a wine now.
Thank you very much. Thanks. One more, and then we one more. Okay. Here we go. This is the last one. Looking at that, loving those smiles. 3, 2, 1. Right. Thank you very much indeed, Kevin. We look forward to
stuff. Take care, everyone. Have a good weekend. Bye.
Bye. Okay, so I'm going to hand over first off. I'm going to go to Kane, if that's okay. I'd just could you just explain a little bit about the journey we've been on and what you've been contributing to Team Casella?
Yeah, well, I guess from this project, I've really kind of looked at research, and that's been sort of a main key thing in this project where we have to look at personas. So personas have been referred to throughout this project. For the beginning of it, we've had to create them and then refer to throughout the project to make sure they're all on track for the right end goal. I've been involved in sort of general creative ideas, and I've also been involved in design of websites. So I've had previous experience when it comes to agency work, but working on a project like this, it's really come together when it comes to the creative process. So having gone through bit by bit, having the sort of creative first week where we look at so many options and then honing down and then looking at some more creative options and then honing down again. That was really interesting. So I've learned a lot so far. And it's been really good to get stuck in. The team sticks really well together, having not met each other. But yeah, it's been such a great opportunity. So thank you.
Thank you very much. So if anyone doesn't know, Kane is just a recent graduate from the University of Winchester. He's an MA graduate from their digital design and media practice, who has a fantastic portfolio of work. And I'm super delighted to have him as part of the team. I'm going to just turn to Amber. Amber, could you tell us a little bit about, your background, how you got involved in Winchester Creatives and what you're doing with Team Casella?
So hi, I'm Amber, and I got involved with Winchester Creatives. So I first found their initial crowdfunding campaign on Twitter, way when it started, and so I promoted that on my radio show, and then I saw that they were looking for apprentices and mentees, and I was like, okay, I'll jump on that. And my role within the Casella team has been copywriting and bringing ideas together and helping to create like a story for like a brand story for the new product.
Thank you very much indeed. Emma's been absolutely brilliant, and she's been bringing sort of these wonderful ideas from TikTok and some just and she's brought in Spotify playlists. She's brought a real energy and focus to what we're doing. So thank you, Amber, for everything you're doing. I'm going to basically go to Hannah next, if that's okay. Hannah Sloan.
Yeah, so obviously I'm graphic design based, so I'm mainly working on kind of coming up with like a photographic style and like a digital, like a look and feel to the campaign. And it's just like I've interned at various different agencies, and it's just so like, because obviously as an intern you're very much far away from the client, so it's really exciting to be pitching to a client and getting instant feedback. Like one time Kevin was like, this really excites me, and it was just like, that was just so like, that was a moment for me in like my career, just like that was just a really nice moment. And it's been really nice working with like the guys. Like it's great to have Dan around because he knows how to do things a lot quicker than I do, and it's great to kind of have like work in a team again. I've not done that for a while, and just generally kind of bouncing off people and being creative is something that I've not done due to lockdown. So it's been a great process, and yeah, I'm just super grateful that I can be part of it.
And thank you for your wonderful contribution to everything you're doing with Team Casella. I'm going to pass over to the wonderful Heather Ranking. I'd love to hear about, could you just explain a little bit about how you stumbled on Winchester Creatives and what you're doing for us?
So hi, I'm Heather. I'm an illustrator. I first kind of stumbled upon Winchester Creatives. I think it was on LinkedIn. I think someone had shared something on LinkedIn, and it was kind of trying to gauge interest in this program. And I saw it, and I was like, that, you know, that's the most perfect thing for me. So I sent this kind of video application in, which personally I find quite cringy, but Richard and the guys loved it. So so here I am. But I've been working with Team Casella, kind of recording what they do in my own kind of like illustrative way, which has been really exciting because I've kind of been able to get involved as well with what they're all doing, and just like seeing all of them bounce like their ideas off each other is really great, and I'm sort of having the time of my life, so I'm loving it.
So if people don't know, Heather, is supporting ourselves while sort of doing some other work, but her real passion is in illustration, and I love her work, and we're so proud that she's contributing across Winchester Creatives and our output there, as well as Team Casella. So thrilled to have you part of this team. I'm going to hand over to Dan B. Dan, tell us a little bit about Team Casella and your involvement in it.
Sure. Okay. Hi guys, I'm Dan. Yeah. So I've been working on. I was working with Winchester Creatives before we actually launched our campaign. So I've been working with Richard and Dan for a while. My involvement in Team Casella is basically to kind of sit as an overview and try and help pull all the ideas together and put them into a format that's going to work for Kevin. It's been fantastic so far. I'm a freelancer, so the last year and a half has been totally working alone. So it's lovely working in a group, and I think that's something that's really hard to get at the moment is a nice group atmosphere, but also direct contact with the client as well. So yeah, really grateful to have the opportunity.
Yeah, and thank you for all your contributions to Team Casella. So just to reassure everyone on this call, Dan and I went through a very, very rigorous assessment criteria to make sure that we found the right team structure for what was needed. But just to say, every single penny that we raised through last year, through crowdfunding, through business sponsorship, is being used to pay for their contribution to this work. So we are fulfilling our mission. Our social purpose is to reduce the feelings of hopelessness in young creatives, to reduce their feelings of job despair, and to help them to get in and get on the creative industry. And this is just one part of what we're doing. But we didn't want to stop there. So whilst we're giving this team, Team Casella, this wonderful opportunity to use their talents together in a coordinated way, we felt that we could go a bit further. And in this regard, I'm going to hand over to Dan Benham to explain a little bit more about Team Winchester Creatives.
Thank you very much. Okay, so basically what's happening is myself and Richard have kind of doing a divide and conquer type thing. So basically Richard's kind of heading up the Team Casella thing. I myself am kind of like heading up the overall direction of the Winchester Creators campaign that's about to kick off next week. So we've employed a crack team of people, Ella, Ellie, Matt, and Dan B. I think that's everyone, and myself, obviously, will be assembling this campaign that's going to go live next week. I've not got a super fancy presentation, but I have got a very small presentation. Can you all see this screen? Yep. Okay, basically, so the idea of this campaign that's going live next week is a spin-off of the first campaign we ran. Obviously, that one was Mind the Gap, where we were highlighting the issues facing young creatives in our area, trying to break into the creative industry during this incredibly difficult time. And so this new campaign is obviously slightly different, one letter different, in fact, Mend the Gap, which will be highlighting the things that we ourselves are doing to try and solve those problems. And with the end result of hopefully bringing a bit more money into this organization and providing some longevity to it. So Mend the Gap allows us to kind of champion the creative talent that we have within Winchester Creatives and the mentees. People generally, I think, are probably tired of hearing from old farts like Richard and myself. So what we would like to do is put you guys, everyone here, as the main focus of this campaign, just through telling your own story, how you found Winchester Creatives, how you're finding it, getting into the creative industry. And, you know, this is such an unprecedented year. Telling your story and getting those words and those original kind of on the ground experiences out there is far better than anything than me and Richard or that we could do. So that's what we're aiming to do here. That's going to kick off next week, as I said. The overall goal is for us to get to this point in a few months where we can launch a proper full agency. The goal still is, as Richard kind of highlighted right back at the start of this, to employ someone who does design, development, content, strategy, video and photography and content production, to create this overall Gap Jumpers agency. And then that kind of thing will kick off hopefully with some funding coming into play that, you know, we're kind of tentatively hopeful about. But basically that's the plan, hopefully, for the next few weeks. So again, I just, similar to what Richard did, I kind of like to just hand over quickly to just the people involved in that, and just if you could just say a few words about your involvement. If we could start with Ellie, if that's okay with you.
Damn it, I was hoping you wouldn't pick me first. But, yeah, I'm Ellie. I've worked with Dan and Richard from the very beginning when we first started Winchester Creatives, and I'm going to be working as digital designer, just doing a lot of the design assets and helping out here and where I can. Sorry. Yeah.
Amazing. Thank you very much. And if we could just kind of hear from Ella Povey as well, please.
Yeah. Hi, everyone. So I'm a mentee. I joined Winchester Creatives about halfway through last year, and it's been absolute gold dust for me. It's been an amazing opportunity. And so now I've come on board as the social media and content planner for this campaign. And so working to kind of grow the campaign, grow the organisation, get more funding, push it out there far and wide is amazing, because it's done so much for me. That for it to do that for everyone else, and the fact that I get to work on it now, yeah, I'm really excited for it. So I hope we can all keep growing and keep pushing it out together. Yeah.
Thank you. And Matt?
He's frozen.
He's frozen. Okay.
Frozen. Is he there? Matt?
Matt Hampsey? No? Okay. Okay, we'll come back to Matt in a minute. Dan B is the other amazing person here. Obviously, we've already heard from him. He's kind of wearing two hats here. He's working with Casella, he's working with Winchester Creatives. He's also a very successful freelancer, but he's kind of helming from a brand position for both of them. Matt, how do you see your involvement with Winchester Creatives?
Hello, sorry I crashed there. I'm the Winchester Creatives T-boy. Whatever Richard and Dan need, I get to them. I'm a bit of a unicorn, or a self-described unicorn. Not that I've ever designed a unicorn, but in the fact that I like doing design development, and basically, I'm basically Mr. Internet. So yeah.
Yeah. Beyond making tea, Matt, what specifically have you been working on?
Oh, specifically, well, you know, I've worked on all sorts. I sold some art for our initial fundraiser. Worked on SEO bits, worked on the website, all sorts really. I don't know, I like to think I'm a little cog in the beautiful machine that is Winchester Creatives. Does that work? Is that okay, Richard?
Yeah, well, you're an intrinsic part, and I would say you're a big cog, and you're actually part of.
Yeah.
So me and Dan don't buy this. I'm a small cog part of it. You're part of the team that's going to drive this forward and make this initiative really remarkable.
Exactly what Richard said. Thank you.
Absolutely. And yeah, Dan B, if you could just kind of say your kind of brief involvement.
Sure, yeah. So I was fortunate enough to be involved from the outset, helping build the actual brand of Winchester Creatives, and so I'm kind of sitting on the sidelines with the Winchester Creatives team, just making sure that everything is kind of coming up to brand and coming through in the right way, and lending a hand wherever needed.
Excellent, thank you. I mean, I would say the one thing we're missing is illustrated headshots of the Winchester Creatives team, because they were absolutely amazing. I absolutely love those. But yeah, I mean, that's basically what we're aiming to do over the next couple of months. We're aiming to raise the profile of what we're doing, all of your individual stories. The pandemic is going on far longer than any of us, I think, probably, to be honest, thought it would do. And obviously the effects of that are only, you know, compounding. And so it is time that we hear from people actually experiencing this. There's no point in just hearing from me and Richard anymore, because you know we're stable in our career. It's you guys that are the main people who are feeling the effects of this, and it's you guys that we really want to champion and, you know, eventually get jobs for. So it's only right that we hear from you now, and that is what Mend the Gap is going to be about over the next couple of months.
So just to build on that, so Dan has created this wonderful brief. So we're asking everyone who's involved in the Winchester Creatives Mentee program, is if we could ask you just to do one favor. Could you just do a piece to camera, which is 1 minute long, which basically says why you got involved in Winchester Creatives, you know, what's your background? Were you at university? Did you not go to university? How has this last year felt for you? And what does Winchester Creatives mean to you? And then if you could just finish that off by sort of encouraging people to go to our website or check us out on social, or kind of back what we're doing. It's a bit like Greta Thunberg, when it comes to, you know, environmental issues, has moral authority. You know, leaders listen to her because it's authentic and it comes from the person that it's really, you know, that really cares about this. And Dan and I have been trying to shake institutions, organizations, vice chancellors about the plight that young people are having, particularly in this post kind of pandemic world. And I think it's fair to say that some of them have very slopey shoulders, and are not stepping up to do what they should be doing. And what I have to say is I've been amazed about individual contributions. So I want to say something about Martin Reed here. So individual tutors in university settings are the people who are showing they care about your future. They're the people who are prodding you to go and get onto these things. But in our experience, the people who sit above Martin, you know, particularly actually I've seen more activity coming out of Solent than I've seen out of other university settings. But the tutors, and it's the individuals themselves. So what we've experienced is the institutions are not agile enough to adapt to the changing situation. They can't make decisions quick enough. But it's the individuals, it's the Martin Reeds of this world, it's the people at Winchester universities who are the tutors, it's the Marcus Rashfords, it's the, God bless him, the Captain Tom Moore who managed to do something as a difference. It's the individuals who are standing up and doing something that counts. So all I ask you to do is, where you see this energy and effort that's going in to help you, show your appreciation, because they're bucking the trend. They're going out of their way to help you. Martin didn't need to tell you, Georgie, or Miles, or indeed Anupa. He didn't need to tell you, but he's encouraged you to come here. So that's why we want you to do these videos. And you'll see Matt Hampsey's done one. Ellie will do one. We'll set the trend of these things. And if you could just and Dan Benham will send a brief template to you. If you can just do a piece to camera where you can look down the lens and tell people what Winchester Creatives means to you, then hopefully we can inspire more people to get involved, increase our funding to help more people like yourselves, to extend our apprenticeship scheme so we can pay more people to do great work. Understood? Can I just ask one question? Can we just turn to Martin? Martin, it'd be really interesting to hear from your perspective. How's it going? I mean, you've got some wonderful students living through some crazy times and you're trying to do your best to help them. How does it feel from your perspective?
Yeah, it is hard because it's really weird. Basically, when all this sort of happened, because I've always used to go to like loads of meetups and go around, meet people, and that's what you kind of did. And I remember when this all first kicked in, it was like, what do you do? And it was like a real downer because you couldn't seem to connect. But I think as time's gone on, I think people have adapted and things are happening, making connections, because I think that's what it's about. I think it's all the ways about making connections. And I always say to students, sometimes students get just focused on what they do and doing their work almost away from things. And sometimes they forget about making connections, and sometimes the connections are really important, because when times get tough, and I know sometimes with students, if they leave and maybe they do connections and then they get a job and then they stop going out and doing meetups, and then that job doesn't work out and then they haven't got any connections to move forward. But if you do have connections, then you can always find something else. I know people have lost a job one week and the next week through their connections, they find something else. So I think it's always important. I always say, don't just go around and network when you're needy, when you want a job, do it before, so when you're at university. And I always say, there's lots of issues to do with universities, I guess. But what I would say, if you do go to university, is treat it as an early career sabbatical. It's not great with money and different things, but you have flexibility. So you have flexibility. You're not stuck in a minimum wage job where you can't get out of it. You can have some sort of flexibility. And the idea being is to build up experience. So we do sometimes have students who do work, and by the time they leave, they've already gained 3 years experience. So they get a degree and the experience. And I think it's always a matter of going out, making contacts. And it's always hard, when I was go to meetups, when you first started doing it, you didn't know anyone. It's kind of awkward and you think, what's that about? But the more you do it, you find that you go to somewhere else, and you will, after a while, you actually know people. You go into a room and you will know people and build up those connections. So I know it is kind of hard sometimes to do that, but I think, the good thing is, I suppose you can do it online. I got kind of not the same, but I think hopefully things will go back, change, but I think it's networking. And also, importantly, I think what you're doing, I think there's always a lack of opportunities for young people. I think that's always there. And one of the other issues to do with university is students people go to university because of the lack of opportunities sometimes. So sometimes there is, I know there's lots of problems with university system, but also in industry, there needs to be a way of training young people up and sort of taking the chance on them. I remember a long time ago, there's some debate about training, and someone said on the panel, why don't companies train young people? And they're all like, because it's quite difficult. You've got to go through that. So I think it's that's the issue, I think, with young people, for people to take the chance on them. I think that's it. And I think, you know, what you're pushing out here is really excellent, because that gives people a chance. It builds them up where they would, like you said before, doing something that they would take years to accomplish, and certainly early career, you might be able to get your hands on that. Sometimes you go into an agency, you might be doing something more basic. So it's kind of quite good to do that. But it's kind of hard. But what I would always say, regardless of how it is going out there, networking, and it kind of gets better. Even if you're a bit of an introvert, it gets better. And kind of that's what you need. And that, I would imagine, that's a big percentage of your skill set. Sure, you should have all your creative skills and all those things. But I always say, you know, just build networks, make contacts, get out there, you know, and there's loads of people who say to students, you know, sign up for things on social media, make contacts. You know, there's lots of things on social media where it's a bit, but I think in the design community, I've always found it would be really supportive. And that I found that our students get a lot of help when they go out there and put their work out or ask questions. I find that people are really sweet. They really help them in the design communities. And I think, you know, that does build up your confidence. So it can be hard, but I think, you know, you've just got to go out there and network, I think, which is the big thing.
Thank you so much, Martin, for that insight. Now, trust us, we are going to basically try and split you into different rooms, and we'll get into the kind of vibe of being in a pub. It will be matey and it'll be chatty. But just because Martin's mentioned this thing about, so what Winchester Creatives is trying to do is it's trying to mind the gap. So there's a gap between people who go to higher education and they graduate, and you've obviously invested in your higher education, and some of you have left university or in the process of leaving university with high levels of debt. So you have a high expectation of employability. Now, on the other side, the employers sometimes want to hire people to hit the ground running. And they would say that sometimes you have the academic experience, but you haven't got the real world experience that they're working for. Or this is what Martin's saying, is that there's this sort of, they think there's a little bit of a lack of experience because, frankly, you've never had to pull a pitch together, which we you know, within 3 weeks, and you've never had to kind of change your track or, you know, understand the dynamics of an agency. And so what happens is there was always a bit of a gap, and that gap was filled with internships, and you were going into studios and we're kind of making cups of tea, making yourself useful, or the apprenticeship schemes, or indeed some of the graduate schemes that they had. Now that they've drawn back on that, what's happening is that gap is widening. So as Martin was saying, is the universities are trying to prepare you for your career of your future, and the jobs are there's a gap there. And all we're trying to do is to kind of close that gap for you, which is to help you, grab you, train you, give you the employability skills, get you match fit, ready for the creative workspace so that you can live, thrive, and get in and get on in that industry. So what I would really love to hear now is, if it's possible, Sandy, I'd love to turn to you, because you've managed to make that jump. You've gone from the one context to the other. You're currently, you know, in that kind of environment. So tell us how it's going. How is it going for you in the agency setting, and what's the experience like, and, you know, how did you find the transition?
Yeah, so actually I applied to Winchester Creatives before I had a job or anything. And then, you know, I got through and I became a part of the community once I think I was literally 1 week into my role, and I wasn't even sure if technically I was kind of eligible to be part of Winchester Creatives anymore. But to be honest, it's still been like amazingly helpful. And I just think like just everyone who's still looking, like even if you are like in a position, I would not cut this network off at all. It's just amazing to have people to talk to. And like Martin was saying, you know, just having these connections and networks that you're always making. So from my experience, I'm literally only 3 months in my role. It's been absolutely crazy. The agency life is definitely just very intense. But it's just, I mean, I graduated kind of like, well, not really graduated, but finished my master's from Winchester School of Art. And it was kind of like a whirlwind thing where I finished my dissertation, and then I just kind of fell into this role. I applied and they interviewed me, and I went on board. I guess one thing that I really focused on upon graduating was just making myself heard. I just churned out, you know, as much content as I could. I interacted on LinkedIn as much as I could. I was fortunate enough to win the DNAD Awards, so that obviously helped a lot. And if anyone's kind of considering doing that, seriously do, because it is amazing to just even contribute to. So yeah, like I do understand, like when I see like people, you know, who are still searching and still looking, I understand that I am very, very, very lucky to have a role right now in these crazy times. It is incredibly difficult. And I don't really know what to say, to be honest, but it's just that, you know, I know so many creatives who are like me, who are still creating amazing work. And slowly, like, you see them kind of get picked up and do amazing things and get on a freelance gig or do, you know, get roles. I just think, like, as long as you're just kind of doing your best work and putting yourself out there and doing and like kind of standing by what you want to do is just like the most important thing. Because I think like that's kind of what I want to do at the moment, just kind of make sure that I'm still staying true to myself and kind of making my own like kind of side hustle happen as well.
So just one question, because we matched you with the mentoring scheme. I mean, how's the mentoring part going?
It's amazing. Yeah, I mean, that's just been absolutely amazing. I just feel like it's so good to have someone kind of outside of work to talk to, because like you can get caught up in office politics or that kind of like bubble. And I just think it's really nice to have that breath of fresh air where I can talk to someone who's quite senior and quite experienced, who's not my boss, you know? It's really good. It's been really helpful.
Okay, so this is to the new people who've joined in here. So can you believe this, that we've opened this scheme up to a number of people, and people can either embrace it or they decide not to. But we've had a number of people, you know, one in particular who we found out earlier today, who has literally not turned up to any of these events, has not bothered to basically catch up with his mentors. So this person who's not on this call hasn't actually had one session with their mentors, despite the mentor who previously worked with Apple, an amazing mentor, offering their time. So Sandy, I'm really interested, I'm going to come back to you, is that if you step back and go, a voluntary initiative that is set up, that's going to give you 6 months of free mentoring support, an online community, access to online employability training, lots of events, sharing jobs and things like that. Can you give us a sense, how much of that opportunity have you seen elsewhere?
I haven't seen it anywhere else. I mean, ever since I've joined Winchester Creatives, I've just told every kind of creative I come across who hasn't heard of them, I've just said, like, literally, join this. Like, I'm telling you, it's like an absolute lifeline. You just don't feel alone. And that's what I think a lot of us feel. Like, even now, like as I'm in a role, like, it's so easy to feel kind of detached and you're like, oh, I don't know what I'm doing half the time in an agency or whatever. It's just like nice to feel like you have a lifeline through this network. So I just tell people, like, there's nothing like it. I've never heard of anything like it. It's exactly what we need. So I just think, like, yeah, you won't find anything else. Like, especially with my mentor, she's already like put me in touch with people like in her circle. So it's kind of like branched out. And I've like today, I just had a conversation with someone who she works with, who's, you know, kind of like an indirect mentor as well. It's just like you get so much out of it. It's amazing.
So I wouldn't mind just turning to a couple. I promise we'll do a breakout room and we'll be super chilled, but I'm really interested to hear. So can I just turn to Ella and maybe Gabrielle? So just like Ella, you've had the chance to go through, and thank you, Sandy, by the way. Ella, you've had a chance to go through. So if people don't know, we're giving subsidized access to this online training portal on the Mighty Network, which is effectively 10 weeks of training on SEO and content. And we hope to be able to provide more online employability kind of options on that platform in the future. Ella, you're probably the furthest through that sort of online training thing. Can you give us a sense of what it's like and how it's helping you?
Yeah, I think the course all in all is kind of unmatched from any other course that I've done. I mean, once you graduate, I don't know about anyone else, but on LinkedIn, I saw all of the people that I graduated with churning out courses left, right, and center. I've done this, I've achieved this, and that's great and all, but how much of that content has actually been valuable? And this is kind of one of the very few ones that's actually been super valuable, because we've met the woman that leads it, Catherine. We know her, we've spoken to her, we can keep talking to her and keep in touch with her. So it's just got that much more depth to it that provides kind of stronger knowledge than any other course that's been out there. So yeah, it's been really, really valuable for me and for whoever else is doing it.
And for anybody who hasn't done it, can you just explain what the experience of it is really like? So, you know, how do you do it? How do you get the content? What do you end up doing?
Yeah, so it's a 10-week course, so it's got 10 modules, one per week. And so the content, you kind of it's kind of got a strip down one side. You log onto your module. It's got the video there from Catherine that's pre-recorded, and then you kind of you get sent the presentation pack that she uses, which has all of the kind of key vital information that you get to keep for yourself. And then you've got your homework, which is something that actually I've found isn't something that you get in many other courses, where you're kind of accountable for actually putting this knowledge and applying it to a real life situation. You have to go off and do a bit of research. You have to go off and kind of utilize the tools and the skills that she's been teaching you, and then you kind of log that onto the system so everyone knows what kind of state you're at, and then you keep going through it. And it starts off kind of with the basics, and then it gets into the more nitty-gritty. And I knew nothing about SEO at all. It was kind of just a buzzword for me before doing this, and so I've learned so much more about it, and it's already proved to be really, really valuable for me in loads of different senses. So yeah, it's been really good.
And in terms of the workload, I mean, can you just do it as and when you want to do it, and is it kind of manageable?
Yeah, absolutely. I found that because it's video content, it's something that is really easy to digest. I sit there with my notepad, just kind of writing down the key points that Catherine says, because that's just kind of how I learn best. But it's something that you can just kind of do in your lunch hour, do in the evening, because it's not it doesn't drag on. It's really kind of digestible information, and the workload isn't overwhelming at all. And obviously Catherine's there, we can talk to her if we have a problem, if we're kind of stuck on something, we're not left to kind of deal with that on our own. Catherine's there to be able to kind of help us through that. So it makes it a lot more easier and more seamless as a course, definitely.
And just to mention, so this is a course that Catherine will probably does sell commercially at £1,600. We have made an arrangement with her, so we can provide it at a highly subsidized rate. So the entire 10-week course that is effectively going to fast track your employability, and you can use those skills to basically make your portfolios, you know, more easily found and all those things. We're basically providing you for 30 quid. So that's like £3.20 a week. Now, if we had extra funding from other sources, we'd give it to you for free, for sure. The reason why we put a nominal fee on this is because we're trying to make sure that we can give a present to people who kind of give the content, and also to make a contribution to the payment of the platform that we're actually paying for. But in terms of value for money, it is extraordinary. So those people who are new to this course, if you're interested in finding out more, we'll reach back out to you. You know, we've got some more access to people on the mentoring program, yeah, get involved. So I just want to reach out to Gabrielle. We had a really good conversation this morning. I love Gabrielle's sort of energy. I love her aura. I love everything about Gabrielle. So Gabrielle, give us a sense. What are you getting from Winchester Creatives?
I think it's more, the main thing is that at the moment, for example, I'm still a student, and I'm doing my master's. And actually, as Martin said, why I chose to do master's was actually because I couldn't find a job. That was for me kind of like I was like, what else can I do? At least I'm gonna have another degree, and hopefully that will help me out. And for example, Winchester Creatives for me basically kind of helps me out with my confidence, if that makes sense. So because you understand that you're not alone in this. There are so many other people there, and kind of like with the whole mentoring scheme is, you can ask for help if you need to, and also communicate with other students too, and kind of just feel better in these uncertain times, basically. So it's definitely it's nice to see so many of you guys and be in this together, basically.
And Hazel, Terry, and some of us have been posting some things on our Mighty Networks, community. Have you found some of that useful?
Definitely. I look over there like every single day because there's always some new information. And, I, for example, I even started doing these Google courses, which was actually for free, and I've never knew this before. So, and because of the platform where Hazel was sharing with us, I found this. So in a way, it is nice that we have this platform and we all can share together whatever we're finding, because you never know, sometimes it could be useful for, one of us.
Wonderful. I'm going to just hand over just to Rishab, who's my favorite person in the whole of the Mighty Network initiatives. I'd love to just say hi, love to hear you. Like, what are you getting from Winchester Creatives, my friend?
Yeah, hi everyone. We were first introduced to Dan in one of our sessions. I think in one of our session in our lectures. So yeah, from that till now, it's been a beautiful journey. And I am from a foreign country too. So coming here, talking to people, getting to know people, not feeling alone, because since I've come here, I've only visited university for like 5 to 6 days. Other than those days, I've just been home and working online and attending the sessions online. So just to have, some people to connect to, and just to connect to other people through a platform where each and everyone share their honest feelings and information regarding the current times, uncertain times. It's been really kind of, that gave me real confidence. And being alone isn't easy when you are, in a foreign country, but to have a portal, to have someone like Richard and Dan to talk to and share your feelings and share your knowledge. And he has been really helpful in like giving as much help as he can, and through the portal. It's been really great, and hopefully it continues and grows bigger and better, because it really helps the creative people and people like us who are still studying and looking out for work in future. And I really appreciate whatever he has done for us, and while creating the portal. So yeah.
Thank you so much for that, Rishab. And just to let you know, you must have that conversation with Christine. I made an introduction to an MD of an animation studio, and if you don't know, Rishab is a phenomenal motion graphics designer who's working in e-learning, and I've made an intro to a CEO friend of mine, and he's having that call next week. So I hope that conversation goes well. Listen, if it's okay, I know that everyone is kind of a bit tired, but Dan, would it be okay if we just did a short sort of get us into different Zoom meeting rooms? Can we just do the kind of 2 meeting room thing and then just have a 10-minute chat and just everyone get to know each other?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. I think you gave host capability to Dan B. Is that right? Dan B, have you got the breakout room thing at the bottom?
Hang on. I'll give it to you, mate, because you know what you're doing here. You're co-host now, mate. Co-host now. Do you know what you're doing?
Yes, I do. All right, cool.
So for those of you, what we're just about to do is we're just about to basically chuck you in to 2 meeting rooms, and for 10 minutes, we're just going to have a chance to have a drink, no agenda, share a random fact about yourself, share how you're going, and then, get to meet some new people, make some new connections, and then we'll regroup at the end, and then we'll take some, final questions. We'll raise a glass, we'll put some music on, and we'll get ready for the weekend.
Sounds great. Okay, right, everyone. It's going to be entirely random, so let's just see what happens.
Okay, nearly. There we go. Ah, look at this. What a great crowd. Oh, good. Right, I've got an empty chair and I've got Dan.
What is going on?
That's fine. No, Freddie has had to leave, and he's going to come back. But
is that because we're the co-hosts?
We're the co-hosts, and he's not everyone else has been allocated. Can you allocate us to a room, each to a room?
I presume so. Sorry, this is really weird. Oh, God grief. Yeah, so I think because, are you a co-host, Richard?
Yes.
Okay, so you have to go on the breakout rooms and then join it yourself. I can't put you there.
How do I go to breakout rooms again?
The little one at the bottom. Is there a one with 4 squares at the bottom?
Hey, Freddie, how's it going? I don't have a 4 school. I don't have a 4.
I can join. I think I can join room 1. I just went to get a beer. So
Go and join room 1, my friend.
I will do.
Freddie.
Oh yeah, breakout rooms. I'm going to join. I'll join you room 1, and you join room 2.
Yeah. All right. See you in a bit then. Should we do 10 minutes?
10 minutes.
Cool. All right. See you in a bit.
Now we're over here.
We're back.
We're back.
Like Star Trek, you get beamed back into another place. Isn't that like?
Sandy, can I quickly just ask you, like, where are you looking for jobs? Like, because I'm really rubbish. I just end up going to the same website every time. But like, do you have any recommendations of where to like look for jobs?
Well, LinkedIn is a big one.
Yeah.
Then there's ifyoucouldjobs.com.
Yeah, that's where I always go.
Yeah, to be honest, it's a really good one. There's Design Jobs Board. That's a good one as well.
Can I input the dots?
Yeah.
The dots is a good site too.
Oh yeah, yeah, that one. I was gonna say Creative Pool, like just all those. I mean, yeah, that's a big one as well. Creative Pool. I'm trying to think of another one.
Hey,
really, these are the main ones.
Oh, look at you all. Look at you all.
Matt, you got cut off like halfway through that speech.
Thank you for that. Listen, I really enjoyed that chat. Now, some of you might want to split, but I'm just wondering, does anyone want to do one more turn at that? And if we do one more breakout room, is anyone up for that? Or does everyone have to go on and have a supper?
I'm afraid I've got to head off.
I've got to go.
Please do.
Get food.
I've got about 10 minutes. So how quick we can do it.
Should we do like a speed one for 5 minutes?
Sure.
Yeah.
Whoever remains, I guess.
Okay. We'll do another one of these random for 5 minutes, and then we'll do a final split after that. Yeah. And if Freddie, if you need to leave, totally understand. But if there's any last minute standing, I just think it's nice for people to get to meet each other. Can we do that, Dan?
Yep. Go for it.
Yes, I'm just trying to work out how
Press
to
the magic button.
Hey, listen, talking about magic, Miles Thornton, like professional magician, right? Suddenly I'm super excited. My son is part of the Junior Magic Circle, sleeps and drinks magic, and this man made a career out of being a magician. Total respect.
I can do that.
That's a classic.
So Miles, while Dan's trying to work out how this thing works, can you just tell us the most random anecdote you've ever had by doing magic at a professional gig?
I had some guy that tried to pay me to go abroad with him and cheat at cards in casinos.
Wow. How much did he offer you?
Well, he offered me, it was £250 straight up in cash. He was getting out his cash.
Wow.
It was very dodgy. Like the notes were covered in like blood. And I was just like, this is this is not. Because I used to be a magician, you work in very strange places sometimes. So I used to work in a nightclub in Southampton as well. And some guy came up to me and was like, I know who you are. And I was like, oh, okay, we've met before. He was like, no, I've protected myself against you. And I was like, I don't know what you mean. He's like, you're the devil. I was like, oh, I'm just doing card tricks, mate. But
that's mad.
Yeah, you meet some pretty strange people.
Indeed.
Amazing. Right, I'm just going to open these breakout rooms just for a few minutes then.
Press the
right,
button.
Ready?
Go.
Go. I'm going to go to room 1. You go to room 2.
Yes, cool. Okay, see you in a sec then.
Yeah.
We'll just do like 5 minutes.
Hello.
Hello.
Livers. Oh, the other lot about, are you all back? Are you nearly?
I was in the middle of speaking. I don't know what they're doing.
And then you transported.
Yeah.
Sorry, Amber. That's my fault. Richard hasn't worked out how to use the breakout rooms yet, so he has to get me to do it.
Can you set them for a time limit, can you? And then it just takes you back.
You can, yeah, but not.
They're the
when-
weirdest ones where you're just there and then you go back and you're like, where are we?
Yeah. I don't know where they are. Did you guys, were you in the same group as Miles in the first one? Any of you guys?
Yeah, me and Ella were.
Did he do that magic trick beforehand as well?
Nah, he just know this is we were waiting in that group, and then we got transported and then put in a separate group. So thankfully we got the magic trick. So
amazing.
Yeah.
Cool.
That was
Whee!
greatness.
Thank you for. I think that was worthwhile. So I think it'd be great if we can keep on doing this. So thank you for turning up. You know, our community isn't anything without you guys and your contribution. So please, if you haven't done so, sign up to the next Friday social.
Is this the first one? Is it?
No, this is our third one.
Oh, is it? Oh.
So me and Rishab, who's had to leave. The first one was 3 of us.
Right.
And we went to 6 of us, and then they went to bigger. It takes a bit of a while for people to things. We had about 70 people on our first event for Sam Conniff. So our big events, we get loads, and the socials is beginning to get some traction. It takes a bit of a while, but thank you for banging the good word in front.
I noticed when things went online, some of the meetups that I went to physically, when it went online, they had more people, you know, because it was just a bit more convenient to do it, in a sense. It was really weird.
So I kept the socials, or Dan and I kept the socials pretty much for the mentees to begin with.
Yeah.
And I think we're realizing is that, you know, there's more of an appetite beyond that of the mentees.
Yeah.
I think we want to help people who are proactive and really want to make the most of the opportunity.
Yeah, I think
so the people who recognize what a gift this is to young creatives and really want to give as much value out of it, we'll give as much of our time. The ones that are kind of takers and just going on the journey and not really bothered, we're getting less bothered about them. So I think we've got some really exciting people in this piece. One question, one thing, this is a big favor of mine. So in the chat now, there is a LinkedIn post that I just sent. So Dan and I have just been seriously frustrated by the lack of engagement from leaders across the whole of Hampshire, particularly when it comes to youth unemployment. To be fair, they've got a lot on their plate. You know, they've had to deal with COVID and all the restrictions and furlough and all that stuff. So Dan and I discussed about how do we elevate this conversation, and we've created an alliance for Hampshire jobs, and we've got a guy called Ian Coulter who runs the Winchester Jobs Club, and we're trying to get the vice chancellors of universities and the head of local councils and the head of Hampshire County Council, the dean of the cathedral, Steve Ryan MP, you know, the real leaders of Hampshire together to have a conversation about how do we have a joined up conversation about jobs and job creations. And Dan and I are particularly passionate about creating job opportunities for young people. Now, we were featured in the Telegraph today for a letter that we all wrote. Unfortunately, Dan's name couldn't be on the letter because they told us they could only have 2 names. But it's not every day that you get into a national broadsheet. Please, can you just on that link, the way that LinkedIn works is a comment is 8 times more important than a like. In terms of what it does is it tells the algorithm to share it more with my network. So I have 2,000 people in my network, and our Winchester Creatives LinkedIn profile has probably about like 300. So when you like and comment, even if it's a congratulations, well done, or keep going, or whatever it might be, it's telling the algorithm to share it with more of my network. So, and that way we share the news that we're doing, that we get, and in my network, I've got more companies that would potentially support us, provide funding, create encouragement. So don't just like it. If you can like and just say, well done, congratulations, really impressed, or, you know, keep going, or whatever it might be, what that does is it has the amplification technique of getting it to more people. And what we're finding in the stats and the data is LinkedIn, and particularly the stuff that I can do from referrals from my network, is having the most amount of impact in terms of our inbound inquiries to our website. So please, please, please see that link, go on the link, give us a like, and then just give us a comment, whatever it might be. And if you see other content that's coming out from Winchester Creatives, particularly on the campaign that Dan's just about to run called the Mend the Gap, which is a really heartfelt, authentic, user-generated content kind of video-based thing, please don't just give it a thumbs up. Just say something, because it will be shared with a lot more people. Understood?
On that, if I make my video on TikTok, it would be on my personal, not the one with 9,000 followers, because that will get confusing. Would that be okay? Would a TikTok video be okay?
Yeah, just give us the video so that we can. We might need to. Probably Dan needs all of them in a landscape for our. We've got a Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn campaign. So you probably do 2 versions. Do one portrait for TikTok, but anybody who wants to share the good news about what we're doing, the more we can spread this news. This is a grassroots, voluntary-led organization. Dan and I have volunteered. Every second and hour of our time has been unpaid. Every penny that we raise goes to young people to help pay or help them with their training. So the more you can share this, the more you can, and particularly Martin. So Martin, Solent is one of the universities who are most actively involved in the Southampton bid for the City of Culture. So the Vice Chancellor has been the most actively involved in that. I think we'll have more of association with Solent than we'll have with Winchester University, or even indeed Southampton or Portsmouth. We'd love to get more association there. If you could bang in a good word or make an introduction, we're particularly interested to collaborate with the Southampton City of Culture bid, and if there's any association we can have with Solent, it'd be great. Does anyone else have anything else to say before we kind of wrap up?
No, it's been really good, fantastic. Well done.
Yeah, good chat.
Yeah.
I did like the event. Very nice.
Thank you for all your content. We're gonna have some boogie music, and then if anyone wants to stay on, they can. I'm gonna stay on for another 5 minutes. In the meantime, oh, by the way, plug for next Tuesday. Sabrina Chevenez is doing a talk about the strength in diversity, how different perspectives and different lived experience can create a better outcome. Please, please, please sign up to our Tuesday event, 6 o'clock.
That's going to be an excellent one. In a similar way that I was saying earlier, that people are bored of hearing Richard and me, boring old white farts, babbling on. She is going to be much more interesting than we could ever be. So it's definitely worth a listen on to that one. Hope to see you all there.
So thrilled to have met not just Martin, but Miles and Georgie. Well done for having the courage to turn and click on the link and come and join us. And connect with me on the Calendly link or in LinkedIn. We'll get you sorted. We'll get you involved in this initiative.
I've got to go and help out with bedtime now, but it's been amazing to see you, everyone.
Right,
have a
Take care.
fantastic weekend, and I hope to see you at another event very soon.
Next Tuesday, isn't it? Next Tuesday, we'll see everyone.
Thanks, Martin. An excellent note to leave it on. Bye.